Hello everyone and welcome to Mordheim Madness Season 1. My name is Karond and today we're gonna look at Group A and the game between Kriskardiac and Valentin. Both players are unranked, so this is the first time they actually entered the level 10 tournament scene. They are currently playing a bit in the Bodyhood League Season 2 and performing decently, a low level league. But we'll see how they can perform here in the top flight of PvP. As you can see, Kriskardiac starts out with the Skaven and Valentin as the Undead. We're gonna see them on Quayside, always a fun map. We did have Slaver against Driss on Quayside recently, both of which also was a Skaven against Undead. And we do know from that game that one of the deployments that you can get, one of the 3 of deployments that you can get, is to start already engaged with half of your team. So we'll see what happens here in this game. I think that both of these players are very anxious to get about, and I think whoever wins here could possibly challenge 485 for the top spot. We will see. I hear that they are about to start, so let's not dally too far and just go into the game and wish good luck to both of these players. And we'll talk more later. Let's see here, Sneaky the Sneak 4193 versus Night Terrors of rating 3221. That should indicate an impressive for Valentin, but it's still a big difference in rating here, so we'll see what else is up. He has to deploy the impressive first. Only 2 spots. We see that there is Rumble on the docks, which means that both of the warbands are deploying in opposite corners. Pretty good for the players themselves, not too much fun for the viewers. We can also see here that he has to use up almost every single deployment slot available to him. So we'll see where he puts down his units. Valentin, that is. We are following this game from his perspective, if you couldn't follow that. Valentin in blue colors, hence the blue icons, playing as the Undead. And I think that Valentin might do a little bit well here. We will see. I initially expected Valentin to do pretty good because among the newcomers he's the only one I know that comes into this tournament with a maximized warband. But having been privy to watching Valentin prepare his warband just now, a few minutes before this game took place, I have to say that I don't think he will get too far in this tournament. He has been talking to me for a while here about how to build up his warband, etc., and having plans and trying to map them all out. And he starts with a warband file that has all of the skills and attributes not yet put in, so he can do whatever he wants. He has forward days to set up the warband for each game. Very nice feature. But it seemed to me like he was just haphazardly throwing out various skills that he thought might be useful. They didn't seem to have any coherence or tactical planning to them. So we'll see what he can do here against Kriskardiac, who has a bit of a rating advantage, and he might have a pretty good warband himself. Bit unusual to see Skaven with such a low initiative as Kriskardiac is showing here. We also see that this is 3-6 and it was 7 before and 3 before that, so Kriskardiac is not bringing an impressive. We can see that right from the start. You can also tell that from the rating most of the time, but still. But the rating difference indicates that Kriskardiac is at least bringing a fully leveled team. You will be surprised how many newcomers come into this tournament not having level 10 on all of their characters, despite the warband files existing. And I don't think Kriskardiac is going to be like that. So let's see what happens here. They're not that far away from each other. This story map is not that big. Which gladdens me. It's very unusual to see ghouls with a one-handed weapon and not a severed arm. They're typically using great axes or another two-handed weapon whenever they're played in PvP. It's, at least to me, I think that the ghouls are the worst henchmen in the game because of their poor abilities and because they have to wear cloth, can't wear shield and can't wear a helmet, and they cannot disengage, which is not too bad in itself. It makes them reliable, although you have to question why they can't disengage, since in lore they are the most cowardly and the only cowardly units available to the undead. They should have worked a bit like the dragon instead, actually. I feel like good in numbers, overpowering strength, but very cowardly. But that's not the case here. We saw Call of Vanal being cast. We're gonna see a lot of that spell. I assume it's very common with undead players. 13% curse chance here if you cast a spell on either one of these. Does he want to take it? No, he does not. But why is he delaying? Yeah, you can see that there's some inexperience. I don't really know why he's delaying there. Like, he doesn't even have any blue pills left to move with. See Call of Vanal here. Let's, for people who are not too used to it, let's just bring it up and see what it actually does. Increases movement by 4 and armor absorption by 30% for zombies, so it's pretty good there. Increases initiative and dodge chance by 20 each for vampires, vampire thralls, ghouls and crypt horrors. Not stackable. So they only affect those particular units, they don't affect necromancers at all. Or indeed the dark soul that we saw was part of Valentin's team. You can also see that in the top right corner of that screen that it does last for 2 turns. You can see the movement speed here. Pretty fast zombie. Valentin has brought in lots of melee here, so it's gonna be important for him to sneak up on the buildings that the Skaven are occupying and then trying to burst through in a big offensive assault backed up by the 2 necromancers. This could be what we might see here. Kriskardiac playing the Skaven. We know that many Skaven players in this tournament, as we've seen before, and in previous tournaments as well, do have a preference for bringing lots of heavy armor warp guards, the initiative ladder support stat, that acts as tanks and speed bumps for some high damage units. A mix of ranged and melee is pretty common with this game, but there is always going to be a Glubadier at the very least. Rarely see Night Runners, but you do often see Black Skaven, Sorcerers and Glubadiers. You see that Valentin is checking the minimap, as we have learned in previous games. Also a good thing to do. You do see area spells such as the Idol of Death, and you also see whenever the opponent is triggering an ambush. Oh no, triggering a trap, I mean. And you see that on the minimap as well. And he's still pretty far away. I think he should just move up here. I don't know why those ghouls didn't sidestep, like right there. They're not gonna be attacked on the first turn. They could gain a bit of distance. And putting this impressive in the open with sidestep. I don't think this is a good move, but I don't think he will be punished right now either. Still too far away. But you see all of that open space coming, well, in the mysteriously foggy alley down the road, where there are lots of Skaven. If you could just creep up closer to that, the buildings would be less useful as staging points for fire. He might have to run a gauntlet here if he keeps all of his units back like this. Valentin, that is. And just so you know, since we got a deployment like this again, and we are gonna do some live editing too, so that the game is not too long to watch for you. It's still a fair distance towards the wagon here. Seems like these buildings might be the center point of the fighting. It's right down the middle between the two opposing warbands. We should take a look quickly, as we always do at the start of a game, of the morale. And you can see it in the top left corner here, with Valentin coming in at 148. So he's a bit lower here than Kriskardiac coming in at 205. Neither of the morale scores here are exceptionally good. They can only... Oh, we see a circle here. Do you see it? That means that one of the units are over there. Something must have happened to give that away. So we do know where one of Kriskardiac's units are. As I was saying, so we do know a bit about... okay, let's see if he does anything. Yeah. Why did you enter a delay? Unbelievable. Ignore Pain is kind of an odd choice to have available to him. It's not that great of a skill. It costs you a few wounds to use, and you gain armor absorption, and you do get it for 2 turns. If you do master it, it costs you less wounds, but it still lasts for 2 turns basic as well, which is something people always overlook when they say it's a really poor skill, since they only calculate it being effective for 1 turn. Actually, since we don't have anything else to do here, give the Savager plus 15% melee damage. Nice to have. At least move forward, Valentin. Don't stay behind. If he ends up using Ignore Pain basic, I think we'll bring it up then. Let's just bring it up now. We don't have anything else to do. Let's see. Ignore Pain increases armor absorption by 10% for 1 turn, but removes 20 wounds at the beginning of next turn. This loss can render target out of action. As you can see, there is a bit of a misleading text here, since it does actually last for 2 turns. You see that? Duration 2 turns, and then it says 1 turn. So it's a bit misleading, and that's why it leaves a lot of people with the wrong impression. Still, you have to be the target to have it be very useful. And its main benefit comes that you can use it and still use its stance afterwards.
A new round has started.
So in round 2, we have seen absolutely nothing happen so far. We know that one of Kriskardiac's units has moved towards Valentin, but we haven't seen which unit it is, because it's not revealed on the minimap, except with the shady little circle. That's, yeah, I don't know why he does this. Valentin really needs to gain distance here, not moving to side step. This is not facing the AI. They are not gonna move straight into you when you have a side step on, as well as all the red pills left. Unlucky casts. It's also not that great to have on ghouls, I think. Yes, plus 20% dodge can be helpful, but these units probably have pretty decent dodges to start with. It's mostly for the initiative boost, but you have to be careful about that, because if you do throw it in too early, you go into battle and then eventually you lose the buff, so you get minus 20 initiative. You could have the enemy attack you twice in a row, and that would really hurt. It's much better to try and get Call of Vanel in right after the point to get another round of attacks on before the enemy can move. But that depends on you being slightly lower in the initiative, and he might have that with some units here. I think we're gonna do a bit of fast editing through some of these units. And welcome back. Well, for you, you haven't actually moved anywhere, but we have, for our sake, we have jumped half an hour into the game, and as you can see, they are still stuck. Although most of the units have been revealed for both sides, so they do know a bit about what you're facing. For the most part, none has taken a single shot or tried to do anything. They have just briefly shown... Oh, well, we might actually see something here from the vampire. Let's see. That is... yeah, he doesn't see anyone quite right now. He has seen almost the entire team of Kriskardiac, and Kriskardiac has seen the Valentin's team, as we said. But most of they have just quickly glanced one another as they move into the building and then hide into the building somewhere, like we are going to see this vampire leader do, along with his trusty zombie, I believe, yeah. Going into the delay, I suppose. At least this makes more sense, although he's blocking the path down for the zombie. You do have more blue pills left over that you can actually do something. It is an interesting note here that Kriskardiac is bringing a sorcerer leader. We see one black Skaven. We also know that he has quite a few warp guards. We can assume that the question mark of the 46 here in the top middle of the screen is another warp guard exactly like the other one that's on the 46 initiative. And on top of that, we have also seen a Globadier, a Necromancer for Kriskardiac, so a bit of a rival here, and a mutant, as you can see here on 18. So almost the entire teams are fixed here. I don't know what you're expecting. I think Valentin is sort of expecting his opponent to just run right into him so he can surround them one by one, as you do against the AI. Because Valentin is the one that needs to be a bit aggressive here. He lacks the ranged firepower, I think. The initiative on the mutant suggests that he's using heavy armor, so if he's using heavy armor, it's a melee mutant. But we do have a vermin kid that is probably using shurikens. They almost always do. And the Globadier and the Necromancers are both ranged, but they might be a bit equal to the two other Necromancers. Yeah, so there's not too much range going on except for the Sorcerer Leader then to even things out. And Kriskardiac don't want to go too far ahead. He does not want to run into the Crypt Horror, who could kill a unit in a single turn and then just run back and hide behind a building again. So you don't want to do that. If you are going to commit, you want to commit big time here. So even if I skipped half an hour ahead, I don't feel that we are gaining too much on the game, but we'll see what happens. For Kriskardiac, he cannot just hide in a building, since the Crypt Horror is one of the few impressives, one of 3 impressives that can enter buildings, and he's the only large one to do so. I think that's actually a mistake by the developers. They probably meant to have him be blocked to enter most of the buildings, but something went awry, and actually that makes the Crypt Horror a bit more competitive than he would otherwise be. You can see Valentin barely using the minimap. If we have learned anything about the previous games, is that once you've seen a unit, you can use the minimap and see where they are right now. Just hovering the cursor around until the icon lights up, and then you know the exact position the unit is in. Valentin doesn't seem to be privy to that information, but what I've sort of gleaned so far from the half hour you lost and the careful, agonizing, slow crawl towards one another is that these 2 players are extremely cautious. It means a lot to them. They are going to go up against ranked players if they go through here. Oh wait, no, they are not, because let's see here. Yeah, it's 485 who's the only ranked player here. But whoever wins here is going to go up against a ranked player, 485, and they both really want to win this. They are extremely cautious, but you can also see that there is a big inexperience from both of these players in handling PvP, and I'm not too sure about either of these players' chances to go through in this tournament, having seen what they're doing so far. We'll see if they turn things around with some solid decision making once the battle is joined. Might be a while still though. Probably searching for a firing position for the Verminkin and the Glubadier here. Might even go with the Necromancers if he has increased range, then good offensive spells like Lifestealer. Personally, I very much favor Lifestealer. It's a good spell for the Necromancers, dealing quite a bit of damage for 3 red pills and healing 16 wounds to themselves. So it's, you can cast it 3 times and then use Adrenaline Rush Mastered to cast it a 4th time, and then you're healing up most of the wounds that you lose. See Warp Poison here on the Verminkin, not too surprising. See if we can find a target to poison with his shurikens. See Prowl, that's odd. If we do see Prowl, that's sort of like an ambush mode, except with a free dodge attempt at the end, so he might actually be using his passive and being a melee Verminkin. Oh, I see a mutant running down here, hiding behind the buildings somewhere. Very low initiative. So I'm guessing heavy armor, but I don't think heavy armor accounts for that entirely. He must have Crusher or some similar mutated armor. That looks like Slicer to me from the distance. An arm mutation that actually gives initiative +5. Acts like a sword so you can parry with it. And removes melee resistance by 9% with each failed poison resistance check. Running out of time here. Probably doesn't want to end up in charge distance of the Crypt Horror here. Hope I don't seem too bored. I'm trying to stay awake here. It's approaching 1 AM. A very late game here by these two players. We do see Kriskardiac moving his positions up here a bit. That's welcome. Interesting character. Frenzy and two-handed. So just doing a lot of damage. While taking as little as possible in return.
A new round has started.
From the armor, that is. He's a moving kill and can competently survive a little bit more. I know a little bit of this since I have a tendency to play Dark Souls kind of like that. With some warbands, we see a warp guard and a mutant on top of the wall. Ah, here they are, both of the warp guards. Very interesting. Nice seeing both of them. Can definitely reach them from here if you wanted to. Gonna be out of blue pills though if you do. Jumping down 1, moving 1, climbing up 1. So what's the plan with all of the delaying here? Yeah, the Cryptor would actually be pretty safe going up there. Ah, that's unfortunate. Still one of the drawbacks that the Cryptor suffers from. The Maiden and the Executioner does not. They can jump down anywhere just like a normal sized character, but the Cryptor does not have that, which is just a further indication that he probably should have not been able to enter doors because of his size. Slow zombie, he needs a refill of Call of Vanhall. Alright, you did delay with this goal. What are you gonna do now? Absolutely nothing. So the delay was not useful in any way. Another sidestep. Constantly trying to be in a stance. That's good. You can see that he has the Rune of Concentration on him, giving him plus 10% chance to land some of his spells. Because he Corpse Flesh here, plus 10% armor and plus 30% poison and critical hit resistance when it's mastered. movement speed buff. Let's see where he goes. You could actually start engaging the warp guards here. I do want to draw the Skaven out anyway. You see the nice 60% armor. More Call of Vanals. Maybe the Globadier can step forward here and make something out of this. I think that... oh yeah, we see the Warp Guard here. Overseas, this is all of the units just waiting there. Not in an ambush stance, but in a dodge stance or sidestep. And you know that he will be exposed to. But you could actually... possibly, it depends on how much firepower Kriskardiac is actually bringing, but you could block the route up there with just a single warp guard here and there, and then all of the units here down by the road will be a bit off for Valentin, and he needs to get them back up into the streets where most of the fights could happen, since there are units left there as well. Could also make this zombie pretty useless if he goes up there and engages the vampires, so he can't go in. Lots of choke points that Valentin has put himself in. Why are you using delay constantly? It boggles the mind. See what the Globadier can do. Hopefully we can get the battle starting and first shots fired. And since we have the morale as it is, due to the zombies, of course, that's the main difference. And a little bit more. It means that Valentin cannot trade too many units here as Kriskardiac can. So if Kriskardiac can trade a warp guard for a ghoul, that's only an advantage to Kriskardiac, because both of them are losing 19 morale by losing a henchman, and it just means that Valentin is so much closer to taking a route test than Kriskardiac is. Probably has that kind of rookie mistake that we talked about in one of our earlier games. Lots of newcomers and new players tend to look at ghouls and dark souls and think that why do I need leadership on these units? They are immune to all alone, fear, terror and so forth, and they cannot even disengage, so why do I need leadership on them unless it's for leadership based skills like insult. But what you always fail to take into account, and we're gonna see first blood here, is that investing in leadership helps the warband as a whole. The warband morale is based on the leadership of each unit times 2 combined, so added to one another, and you want to get it as high as possible. Even if your units doesn't benefit from investing in a bit of leadership, your warband does. Seeing a little bit of damage being inflicted. The Globadier could probably heal that up though. Good thing that you delayed twice, Petro. What will we do without you? Lots of units here, you know. A Warp Lightning could do some tremendous damage. 4 units really close by if he just went up by those stairs and threw down a few Warp Lightnings. See the movement here. 9 movement. And light armor. So he has knowledge Mordheim on those warp guards. Pickpocket 55% armor, so we are indeed correct here with heavy armor. But look at that, 10 movement. 10 movement. It's pretty big as well. It doesn't seem to be buffed either, so that's an interesting way of seeing it. Like if you do have, let's see here, you can maximum get 12 intelligence with a mutant, I believe. So if you use a Book of Intelligence to raise it to 15, you can get Knowledge Master Mordheim. Knowledge Mordheim Mastered. That's +2 movement, and then -2 for heavy armor, but +2 for armor proficient mastered. That takes you up to 8, and then you have Clawed Feet, takes you up to 10. So a very speedy warband here from Kriskardiac. Same thing here, movement 9. You can clearly see that he is definitely not Valentin out for throwing any kind of range. Very low ballistic skill. See another circle appearing here, revealing where that unit is. Each the only one who has been hurt a bit. Of course, it's gonna delay. You can see that one of the warp guards has moved forward quite a bit. Maybe Kriskardiac is trying to provoke a reaction here. You see that Valentin Shiv still has warp poison under him. I see some Enshrouding Mist here as well. Shrouding Mist, very interesting. -30% melee resistance for all units that aren't Skaven. As well as some range resist, but I don't think that's gonna be too applicable here. Valentin doesn't have any, and Kriskardiac, if he does, it's gonna be on the Globadier and the Sorcerer Leader. We've already figured that out. Running out of time here. Asandor, let's see what he can do. He's gonna do the customary delay. It's the honored tradition of Valentin's Undead Warband. I don't know why he keeps so many units that far away. The battle seems to be happening on the upper street. And Kriskardiac does not have all of his team all together, but he does have great, and I mean fantastic movement speed. So maybe he's hoping to pull some units of Valentin's apart, just make him follow him up there and then move with all of his team to one side. I think he would have loved to have a deployment that was more split up, you know, like in 3 groups. He could be really dangerous in those kind of deployments. In this one though, his speeds count for less. Especially since he faces a melee warband of Valentin that's not too interested to walk forward and doesn't have the range to provoke people to walk forward into him. Was the end turn of the mutant? Didn't see where he went. Oh, that's cool. That's actually pretty cool. That, ladies and gentlemen, is Wordstone Lure. I don't know if you've seen that before. It's a Globadier active skill. Let's bring it up in a short while here. Let's see what happens in the action, and when we can bring it up and look at it. So it did 39 damage. Kind of nice. Well, the Dark Soul has him trapped here, so the best thing would actually be not to attack. Enter the 5% dodge stance and then just counter-attack as the Warp Guard is, as it's the Warp Guard's turn. And if you both want to just stand there, wow. Tried it anyway and is a bit lucky here, 63% chance and bypassed the... Yeah, the stance. Pretty decent here, so let's see if he's lucky again. No, not so lucky this time. Still a very nice hit. The first hit is the most important one for a Great Axe. So pretty good attack here. Gonna start out with the next round. We're already after round 5. Let's quickly bring up Wordstone. Oh no, that's the wrong one. I'm sorry. I'll have to rethink that up a little bit. We're gonna see the ghoul here. See what he does. Wants to climb up there and engage the other Warp Guard most likely. There we have it. Wordstone Lure. Place a fake Wordstone cluster target location that explodes when an enemy approaches within 2 meters. That deals 20 to 40 poison damage and reduces movement range by 1 meter to everyone within 5 meters for 2 turns. Usable once per turn. So we're pretty lucky here with the damage, doing 39. Good, the average is 30. Reduce the movement of that Dark Soul a bit, oh, we're gonna see combat focus. Lots of new skills here being used that we have to show up. And we see overpower. It's a cool combination. Why not gamble? You saw that there was not too big of a chance to score that hit, but if you do, with lots of these characters coming right after you, you have a big chance. So we can show that as well while we're on here. Combat focus increases the chance to hit of the next melee attack or attack skill by 10%, valid only for the next action. That's something people always miss, like they use combat focus, then use insult, and then you find out that the combat focus is gone. And especially kind of good when you bring it in together with this skill, overpower basic. So instead of minus 40% chance to hit, it's going to be minus 30%, and then you could potentially stun your enemy. And then they are defenseless, of course. So I kind of like that. Why not gamble a little bit? Didn't pay off right there for Valentin, but it might do in... yeah. If you want to climb up here, you probably have to charge the Warp Guard because you don't have any... I don't get this. I don't get these delays. I'm constantly like, why delay when you don't have any movement whatsoever available to you. It's okay if you have mastered exhaustion and you might do a little bit more damage, then okay, but right now I feel that ghoul is just blocking the path for the zombie to get up there. You see a bit better dodge chance here, as well as initiative on this ghoul. Sadly, it won't make a difference. He will still be ahead, no matter what. Bit lucky here. Magic resistance success, 9 out of 9. Rotten Touch is not that good. We went over this when we had the other undead game before this, but in theory you're supposed to do more damage for each of the disease debuffs that the ghouls inflict for each hit, and you do that by plus 5% damage, but the plus 5% damage is only off base damage. And the base damage of the spell is already pretty low, and that's the main disadvantage with this spell, because for each disease debuff that's put on a target, you're only doing like 1 to 2 extra damage, and that's nothing. And if you are in a bit of luck where you have an enemy that's hit by like 5 or 6 extra, they're almost dead, or if not just dead already, and then just adding, you know, 6-7 extra damage to that spell, it's really not worth it. It's not something to build around, I feel. The only reason that we see some of it being used by some of the better players seems to be that it's cheap, and sometimes you just need that extra little bit of damage. This is a very nice ability. We actually brought it up by accident here, but let's bring it up again. Warp overcharge. Oh, I'm wrong again. Unbelievable as I use this live. It's really difficult. There we go. Warp attunement. There we have it. After gathering Wardstone decreases spellcasting cost of next spell by 1 OP. And more importantly, you have less Sense Curse chance. So considering all of this, why isn't this character moving back and forth and picking up more Wordstone? He did have another slot, I believe, so he could do that. Because you see that now, 18% chance of a curse. Doesn't want something bad to happen to him. 33%. Yeah, I think that's risky. You could blow up. 28% chance. It's slightly better, but you're not doing the damage that you want to do. Gonna do it anyway here. 41%. Alright, will you succeed at the sense tests? You will not, and you're stunned. Wow. Yeah, that hurts. Hopefully Valentin can protect his necromancer here. He does seem to be a bit out of range from most of Kriskardiac's units, but let's not forget that he has a great movement available to him. Like, just look at this Glubadier. Coming here to help out the Warp God, probably? Oh, he'll be moving here. Ah, he can shoot. Cool. Another vital shot. You see it, he has 46% chance to score a critical here, so it should actually be much higher. I don't know why he has such a low chance to score a critical hit. Vital shot is a skill that improves critical hit chance by 20% when it's mastered, like it was on that Globadier. I feel that he could have instead focused on doing more damage just by using normal attacks. Unless he lacked the blue pills to retreat. If he did that, could be a valid reason. Just look at this zombie and how slow he is now compared to when it's under the effect of Call of Vanhel. Really makes all of the difference. Might see a first kill. That warp card is pretty vulnerable. Armor break, minus 10% armor should he hit. Cost 3 red pills. It's very good in combination when you're surrounding an opponent, but Kidney Strike is even better to make sure that you hit. We saw that he had that available to him. Not using it though. Might see the Cryptor come in here and finish him off though. Seems very likely. Oh yeah, he's a bit further away, but can definitely make that. Do know that this particular Cryptor has knowledge Mordheim Master, which means he has +2 movement. So he's pretty fast as well, keeping up pace with the warp guards. Gonna take a hit here with the... is that Shiv who is in ambush stance? He might not want to trigger the ambush here. Let's see if he does that. He does not. So first kill goes to Valentin. So Kriskardiac is down by 1 henchman. He might be down by more here if Alexei chooses to charge this pesky little rat, who's called Shank, a warp guard. Opts not to use the full power of the impressive here. Alright. Bit odd choice, could probably have killed him off and then just left the impressive there with only one person able to engage him. I don't know, maybe he's afraid of the Globadier doing a little bit of damage. He has a lot of his units gathered here, Valentin. But you can see from this playstyle that he wants to do hit and run with the Cryptor. See if he has the space available to do so. This road is quite narrow. Wonder where the Necromancer is and where he's going. Oh, we do see him here at the very edge again. Oh, he's running out of time though, 30 seconds. What is it? He might be itching to get close to the other Necromancer. Yeah, he seems to be. Or he's going to hide up in a building here, but he might actually have the range to reach him here. Still, only 20 seconds. He's not acting fast enough. This is why, whenever it's your turn, always check on the minimap. We say this in every single game, but it's worth repeating. A bit of unluck here, 80% chance to get in some damage. But just look at the minimap, check out for area spells or traps, etc. And always think about what you're going to do with the units coming up instead of thinking of it right when the unit's turn starts. Wow, that was really unlucky. I don't even want to calculate the probability of missing 80% chance in a row. That's just Mordheim for you, but that could be crucial here. It might mean that Valentin's Necromancer will live as opposed to just dying. He should have died there. But yeah, think a bit ahead, otherwise you will lose out when it comes to tournaments like these, and 90 seconds is really the standard time. I actually think it might be interesting to have even less time, but some players are so unused to it. And personally I don't understand why. Maybe I'm not empathic enough. I feel like whenever I see players that are too slow with the turn timer, I feel like, you know, when you're playing poker and you have sitting around 5 guys around a table, and there's always this one guy who's always like, oh, is it my turn? And doing like, who is not really paying attention until they're actually stopping up the game for everyone else. And I feel like, yeah, that player who always does that, those are the players that always run out of time in Mordheim. It's a simple comparison, but it's my way of viewing it, my own twisted little way, very biased way, and it might be entirely wrong as well. Probably is, but I might not have Warp Lightning available. He keeps throwing down Shrouding Mists, and why would you throw down in Shrouding Mist? If you want, for example, the Globadier can't finish him off because the Globadier already fired at him, so it's gonna be the Necromancer's turn before that. But you're providing him with ranged resistance. See, this is why it was such a poor move to move backwards with the Ghoul Horror here, I think, or the Crypt Horror. He could have done a lot more with the Crypt Horror. Going in there doing damage, he probably should have killed off the Warp Guard as we saw, and then he could have used the Vampire to protect the Crypt Horror if he feels that he's vulnerable. With an ambush and just holding someone else up, and then it's the Crypt Horror's turn again, and he can come and help out the Vampire. But trying to play it safe, I suppose. Gonna see the Black Skaven moving. Saw the Wordstone cluster there, very suspect, probably another Wordstone lure, and Valentin doesn't want to step into that. See, the Black Skaven here is trying to reach the Necromancer. It seems like he is unable to. Another reason to always use Master Exhaustion on many of your heroes. You don't have to, but it can come in use more often than not. Let's see what this Warp Guard does. I would probably just attack into that. He doesn't have a stance. I see an Oil Bomb doing a little bit of damage. It's good use of the points. Gonna do more damage than a single attack. And a little bit more damage. Quick Incision is not gonna come into play. Unless someone attacks the Dark Soul from behind, but it seems to be really easy to hit anyway. I'm gonna go straight for the Black Skaven, I think. Yeah. Oh, I can just narrowly reach him. %56% chance to succeed on terror test. Did that here, and since it lasts for a while, he's gonna be immune on his own turn as well. So I don't think he has to take it until his third turn against. No, second turn against this vampire. Not succeeding right there. Taking a little bit of damage in turn. See, hit and run on this Black Skaven. So Kriskardiac might have wanted to play a little bit like Valentin plays with his Cryptar, but now he seems to be stuck against the Vampire. Could probably do a bit more damage here on the Necromancer. Imagine if... wow, nice critical hit. Imagine if he had actually hit with all of those spells from the Necromancer. That unit would have been dead now, and it would be nice to equalize the points here for Kriskardiac. Not only that, he will actually gain a bit. He's only lost a henchman. Well, Valentin has almost lost a hero. Can be good here to put himself into melee with the Necromancer to prevent him from moving. Since he's up against the wall, he cannot disengage. Can't quite get in there using exhaustion to move right in, I believe. Yeah. Solid move. Gonna see what this... you see the Wordstone there in the bottom right corner? He definitely wants to get one of Valentin's units into it. Not going to be obliged. That zombie is already slow as he is. Could that mean that he wants to abandon this point and go down the stairs? Might be. If so, Shank should follow through here and not engage. Yeah, he's doing just that. See Sandor here again. He needs to have a bit of luck here. Remember the Great Axes do apply a plus 10% chance to dodge against them. And he happened to go in and get stuck against the Warp Guard who has sidestep. I think the best thing actually here would be for Asander to not attack at all. Just sit there. Well, why do you have to attack? You're constantly being drained with wounds here. And now you don't have a stance and you're gonna be attacked twice and lose 40 wounds more. Instead, if he just stands there, the Warp Guard can attack him, but then he's gonna get a hit back, and once that hit eventually hits, it's gonna do a lot of damage. Okay, so we see Slicer and I believe that's Smasher. Smasher reduces stun resistance and Slicer increases hit chance. Wow, very good hit. I kinda like that. Mighty Charge. Wow, cool. Let's see what he does now. So it's 1-1. Kriskardiac has killed a hero. Valentin has killed a single henchman. Doing another Mighty Charge. Not so sure about that. If he doesn't have a normal Adrenaline Rush, then yes. But otherwise... okay, so if you're disengaging here, you're not provoking all alone test. Is he maybe stepping behind the Warp Guard? I think that would be the best choice. But he's just leaving him there. I think that means that the Warp God is probably dead, actually. I don't know why he left him there. If he doesn't have any movement left, then why disengage? Just stay there and provoke the all alone test instead. And if you did have movement, just move behind the warp card so that the crypt horror cannot go and get you and kill you. Which seems very likely to happen now. Also see that the Enshrouding Mist here does affect the mutant. So he's even easier to hit now. Disease Carrier debuff. And I have another one. And Mark of Dismay twice. I don't know if that's from the weapon or from the helmet, but minus 6% times 2 if it's from the weapon, minus 12% if it's from the helmet. I like this. If he enters into an ambush here, it could protect the flank of his vampire. Doesn't do that. Well, it will still be covering it. $267. Yeah, I think that the Cryptor is gonna punch through that anyway. Good magic resistance roll. The 55% armor will help, but only so much. Oh, it seems that Kriskardiac is getting some luck back. Remember, he did fail 3 life stealers in a row. Now he's succeeding at 2 magic resistance checks in a row. Idol of Death, it's the normal one. It's gonna really hurt the chances here to pass a terror test or not alone test for that mutant. Assuming he survives, but even if he goes down, the Cryptor might go into the warp guard and then he will flee from that engagement, take another 2 hits, and it's gonna really hurt him. So the Globadier coming here, he could probably start shooting a bit. The ghoul should be easy to hit as well as the vampire, 29% chance. Well, depends on what the stun resistance is from Valentin, if that's actually worth it compared to just throwing regular shurikens at him, doing more damage. Scoring a critical hit will bypass armor, but I don't think it's worth all of these extra red pills that Kriskardiac is using right now. Around 30 damage per hit, it's not like that's 90 damage for that unit's entire turn. It's not good enough. Wasn't lucky with a critical hit here, but Globadier moving out of sight. Gonna see this slow, really slow zombie here. Wants to avoid the Wordstone Lure, or not, just step right into it, fine. Just step right into that. Interestingly enough, did you see that? He did trip the Wordstone Lure, but since it is a poison effect and zombies immune to poison, he didn't take any damage. Kind of interesting to note here. See Kidney Strike and another mark of Dismay. Kidney Strike, we talked a little bit about that, why it's a good choice. You can bring it up to have a look. If hit, the target gains a debuff that reduces melee resistance by 15%. So if you have a few characters against the same target, a Kidney Strike can really help everyone doing the damage that they want to do. We're gonna see the hero being killed off here, most likely. Making it 1 hero lost on each side. See Death Stance. Regular. Oh, we can take a look at that too. Let's see. What does that stance do? Reduce melee resistance, parry and dodge chances by 5%. Resistible poison effect. Very well. So just a little bit easier to hit. He was already very easy to hit, so you did really not need to use that stance in that particular case. Doesn't actually finish the mutant off, but he's not gonna have much of a chance to succeed at his all alone check or the tarot check. Warp lightning here could be pretty decent. Targeting the ghoul and the vampire at the same time. Sorcerer's Curse is very nice against this vampire. He's heavily armored. Removing most of that armor. Good choice. Failing with the Enshrouding Mists. Is he sure that he wants to cast Enshrouding Mist into this? Because Effect succeeded at that. Plus 50% range resistance to everyone within it. That would have seriously hampered the ability for the Globadier to do range damage. He's not doing too much range damage, but he will do even less if he stays at his current position. Might have been good that he actually failed that. Depends on how difficult it is to hit this vampire, but since he's using a halberd, I don't think it's too... Oh yeah, I failed it twice. Yeah, he has really poor luck with his spells, Kriskardiac, but I think that might be a blessing in disguise. I don't know why he's trying to cast Enshrouding Mist there. He's the only one using actual ranged damage, so he's only hurting himself by that. And the vampire should be pretty easy to hit, I think. Still a bit lucky here. 15% magic resistance, starting to even out. Spells are really not having too much of an effect here so far. People are making the resistance checks left and right, or the casters themselves are failing their casts. Unbelievably lucky. Twice in a row and enfeeblement. Ouch. And a warp overcharge also failed and dumbfounded. Ouch, that's stupidity. A really bad luck here for Kriskardiac. Taking it to good spirits though. I don't know what is with him and warp overcharge. Why does he think this is a good spell? We have brought it up on accident before. Let's bring it up. Let's see if we can find it in the list. Here it is. So exhaustion being used there. But warp overcharge applies a debuff deals 30 to 40 damage on the target's second turn, but has no effect on the first turn. And gathering a ward stun removes the debuff, so you can get rid of it. And it only does 30 to 40 damage. And remember that this is a debuff effect, so it's not adding any extra damage due to skills, runes, or the intelligence modifier of use here. I mean, the vampire could go back on the next turn and actually pick up a wordstone near the other fight, but even if he doesn't, like, he's not taking too much damage from that. That's 35 damage on average. It's really nothing. I don't think it's worth casting that spell. You do more damage with many other spells comparatively. Black Hunger, nice to see. Dodge and parry bypass as well as some extra damage based on the base damage of the weapon. Yeah, the RNG seems to go in Valentin's favor right now. Wow, that's good at least. Making sure that he hits a few times. If he has Adrenaline Rush, he should probably use it. Really good to score a critical. There we see the stun resistance, it's 70. So much better. If you have Adrenaline Rush now, you can actually finish off the vampire. Or imagine if he had actually hit the vampire on the first 95% chance. So I could have finished him off. So always these tiny little details that go against Kriskardiac. Could have killed off the necromancer far earlier, could have used the mutant for something else. Instead the mutant is now stuck, having gone off the necromancer, and he's probably not gonna live for very long. He's probably definitely not gonna be able to make his turn, and he's definitely failing the all alone test there unless he's really lucky. It might not even be a double one on the dice chance to stand as the game itself usually had on the tabletop. Our last stand. Plague took a little bit of damage from the exhaustion to get in there, as we saw before. Gonna use insult, making sure that he hits. He also has a mace plus hit chance. Let's keep doing a bit of damage here. The vampire leader is almost dead. See what he can do when it is his turn. But if he does lose the vampire leader, considering he has lost one of the necromancers already, Valentin with his shaky morale cannot afford to lose Virgulur Rasvan. If he does lose this second necromancer, then he is unable to pass a route test, and he really has to look to his morale. So we need to keep that in mind here as players are killing things left and right. Waiting for the night to turn into morning, both in game and in real life, as these two players battle it out. I don't think he should have used the oil bomb here. Should just have attacked twice instead. I mean, you can use the oil bomb whenever this zombie here enters a stance instead, so it's much more difficult to hurt him. Right now we could have used the extra little bit of damage, because this zombie is gonna be tanky after a while. Don't know why he's using Adrenaline Rush here. He had one red pill left. Used Adrenaline Rush for alright. Used Adrenaline Rush for another red pill to be able to disengage. Okay, that's fair. I wonder though if he wouldn't have taken less damage just using a flea. I don't think that zombie does too much damage. And here he is, coming back. Come on, what is the plan, Kriskardiac? So you spent 30 wounds on your own guy to disengage and then come back exactly where you were. I don't see the strategy. If there is one. Remember that the Globadier is pretty high up on Kriskardiac's initiative list, and he's probably really happy that he did fail his 2 Enshrouding Mists now, even if he doesn't notice it. The thing is here, if the vampire is gonna disengage and run away, seeing as he has locked down. Okay, so he gets less movement now, so it's less likely that he can run too far. But he has locked down the enemy with his zombie, so he could just leave the zombie. and come back with the Crypt Horror. He's well within distance. So what's the plan here? Just sitting around for Kriskardiac. Needs to be able to make decisions a bit faster. You have a whole... you have all of the turns of your opponent before you should figure out what to do then. So you can see it's not doing too much damage here since Powell has 60% armor on him due to Call of Vandal. Only 20 wounds remaining. Means that you can't use Exhaustion Mastered here, or you will die on the next turn. Nor Adrenaline Rush. Seems like he doesn't have the ability here to disengage. I think that it might be because the ghoul is in the way, or he's too close to this edge of the stone bridge. Missing 46% chance. Yeah, you might just as well do a strong blow here. Could you use those just 3 regular attacks instead? Yeah, that probably means that the vampire is going down, and if the vampire is going down, he's gonna lose 26 morale, which is quite big. Then it goes down to 100. So 59 to 100, that's 41 morale. A henchman is worth 19, so losing 2 henchmen and something else like the icon or anyone else is gonna be... Wow, 12% chance. Yeah, that's 2% chance for the Terrorfail. Yeah, he's not gonna do anything this turn. And he's gonna die on the next. Should have gone at least behind the warp guard here if he had movement. I don't know what he was thinking. Pretty decent chance for overpower. Shrouding Mist is gone. Plus 10% hit chance for the next attack. Completely useless since he was hitting 95% of the time anyway. One of the first delays that actually makes sense from Valentin here. If the Crypt Horror does kill the mutant, which is very likely, using delay twice here will be able to make the ghoul go where he's needed. Wherever that could be. Gonna try and hit this warp guard. Might do some... Okay, not using the overpower. So what does he buff up now? Call of Vandal on Alexei? Plus 20% dodge chance, but more importantly plus 20% initiative. Very limited choice. I think I would target the Warp Guard. Warp Guard doesn't have 25% magic resistance, so he doesn't have to deal with that, and the mutant's gonna die anyway, so why not just start doing a bit of damage on the Warp Guard. Okay, at least bypassing something damage here. I would not use Master Adrenaline Rush. You want to be careful about this Necromancer since he's going to be the last one to be able to make a route test here if the vampire goes down, which is extremely likely coming up here as the Globadier's turn is soon coming to us. And we see a dodge. And we see ignore pain. Gonna take 20 wounds for plus 10%. Don't think it's worth it. It's not gonna do too much. What damage does this Vermin Kid do? 40 and 30. So if he hits twice, that's 7. And if he does that in 2 turns, 7 as 10%, 40, 30, 70, 10% of that is 7, so yeah, it's not gonna be worth it. 7, 14, preventing 14 damage, taking 20 damage, so it's not effective at all. It's more effective when you have lots of people at you, or that you're already at a high level of armor, because the more armor you have, it incrementally gets better. And we see the leader go down here pretty quickly, thanks to him being easy to hit, thanks to there being no enshrouding mist despite the sorcerer trying twice. So that's good. Good to start doing a bit of damage on this ghoul as well. He seems to be easily killable, and if he can do that, he can play the morale game here, focusing on the morale to bring his enemy down. Because I think Kriskardiac might struggle a little bit here with the Crypt Horror. Failed. 22% chance to score a critical hit. So this day has 1 more shot. That's all of it. See, this is much more effective. 3 shots and a vital shot than just 3 vital shots. And if you have sudden skills that increases your critical hit chance, as you hit targets, you can just do 3 of those attacks, and then just like sharpshooter, for instance, which is the skill that increases critical hit chance. With each hit that you do, you could use that 3 times, increase the chance for a critical hit, and then just do a vital shot at the very end. For one deciding. Yeah, goodbye. Yeah, he goes out right away. So we have a leader and a hero down for Valentin, and we have a henchman and a hero down for Kriskardiac. So Kriskardiac is in the lead here. Gonna see what's gonna happen now though. It's my thought. Should probably use a strong blow here for the last attack, unless he wants to. I don't know why he's saving 1. Why not just use a strong blow? If you're gonna use Master Adrenaline Rush, then it makes perfect sense. See if you try that for the first time. Yes, you do. Alright, so he has planned it out. 2 more attacks. Missing on the first one, that's not good. Remember, he's gonna take 60 damage from this to get 2 extra attack, and he does 61. So yeah, he's just trading wounds now. Gonna have to be careful around the Globadier. And indeed, the Necromancer, we forgot about him. He's stupid right now, but he seems to have made his intelligence check, and he can move. It's lucky for him. Well, a good thing about Warp Overcharge on the Impressive is that the Crypt Horror, the Impressive, cannot pick up any Wordstones. It's gonna take that 30 to 40 damage. But why do 30 to 40 damage when you can do more damage? Just do Rotting Touch, it does more damage. Do Life Stealer, it does more damage. Particularly per red pill. Still 0% chance to suffer chaos, but you might not want to be too in the open here. Remember that you're still stupid. So you have to take a stupidity test each time to not do anything. We see another Warp Charge. He really does love Warp Charge. Good damage. That is good damage. Gonna take a bit here in turn. You never know if you're gonna be able to use this Necromancer on the next turn because of this stupidity. Quick casting, okay. So you have 3 red pills remaining and used quick casting to get that off cheaper. So you have 1 red pill remaining. Suffering from a stun attack here and managed it. No, etheric attack, it's just regular damage. And now the Necromancer is back to his former self, failing another Steal Life at 80%. So it's gonna take 90 damage next turn. It's quite a bit for someone who's just standing there. I think if they can push through here, especially with the Crypt Horror, I think they can reach the Necromancer and do a lot of damage on him. This is crucial. Let's get in there and provoke the all alone check together with Idol of Death. It's gonna do quite a bit. Okay. Yeah, I do miss Warp Lightning. It seems like he is mostly a support unit. That's a really poor target for Sorcerer's Curse. Remember, the Sorcerer's Curse removes your armor by 40%. I think it's something like that at least. I don't have it in my list here to bring it up, sadly, right now. We'll get it for the next game. But you know that ghoul, he only has 15% armor, so why remove all of it? It just doesn't make any sense. If he could have targeted the Crypt Horror, it would have made more sense. That guy at least has 30% armor. But targeting one who has the least, or at least target a zombie, in case he gets another Call of Vanal on him. Because with Call of Vanal he has 60%, and without it he only... he doesn't have too much, but 60% minus 40 is 20, so that would be more manageable. It would be like he's doesn't even have Call of Vandal on him. Even a bit less, actually. Blessed with Filth, it did target Flea, which is the Black Skaven here. It's his turn to come up. I wonder if he can actually do something with that. We saw that Blessed with Filth was not mastered, so it's not too much damage. But it's gonna do a poison... casting a poison resistance check for each hit that he does, and if he is good, if they fail the poison resistance check, they're gonna take a little bit of damage. Not too much though, but a decent amount. Very nice here with the Kidney Strike actually landing. It's gonna make Flea really easy to hit for the Crypt Horror when it's coming up. Ignore Pain, taking 20 damage. Probably not good in this situation. I actually would ignore the zombie if I was Kriskardiac. Just, you know that the Black Skimmer is gonna die, so you might just as well do as much damage with Black Hunger as you can on this Crypt Horror. While the Hallbeard Warp Guard here he will be much more enticed to hit the ghoul who is quite injured, the ghoul who is susceptible to the poison from Bless of Filth for a little bit of extra damage. So yeah, definitely use him. We do see Black Hunger here, so that's good. Gonna see if he targets the zombie or if he targets the Crypt Horror. Hope he goes for the Crypt Horror, but yeah, good choice. Mad Camp's good too, so making sure that he can hit. Not under the effect of Enshrouding Mist anymore. Kriskardiac just doesn't have the luck that he needs. Oh, well, there it goes. That's much better. That evens it out. 76% chance to succeed the poison, so no, that's good. And fail! So we're gonna see one poison click here coming in for damage on the Crypt Horror. It's not gonna be much. Gonna be a little bit. And this Dark Soul keeps being slowly whittled down by misuse of his abilities from Valentin. So it's not good. Yeah, Bless of Filth. Just checked it up, 18 to 16 damage, so it's not much. It's not much at all. Yeah, not surprisingly, failed the all alone test here. Doesn't have the space to move. So, alright, why? Why are you using exhaustion to get a stance? I think that maybe that's worth it. An adrenaline rush. Yeah, I'm really not agreeing with this. I think Plague is doing a very, very poor job. Like you have one blue pill left over after that, so you're using exhaustion to get 2 blue pills to enter a stance. Yes, there could be some logic in that, maybe, but I don't think that the ghoul is doing. He's doing something around 30 or even less if he hits. So not a good choice to get hit with 30 damage, and especially not a good choice to go into Adrenaline Rush here hoping for a counter attack on the ghoul. So just making sure that he takes 60 damage, it's not good. He's not gonna hold that Necromancer there for long, or the ghoul, if he keeps doing that. We see I swear Kriskardiac has missed quite a few 95% chances here, and they do add up after a while. Whenever you have a little bit of extra wounds left over that keeps the unit alive, is that crucial extra turn so they can do a bit more damage. All of this just, yeah, it piles up. Let's see what Asandor does here. He's almost dead now. Remember, he charged in here gloriously thinking he's cornered a rat and he was gonna finish him off. And then nothing came of that. Still trying to punch through. You can see that there's a low chance, 73% chance to hit, 88% chance on the dodge. Yeah, that's not worth even trying. Doesn't even try to go into a dodge stance. It says 5% is going to be less, but at least going to be 1% chance to avoid a little bit of damage. Doesn't even take that chance. So Flea is out. Second kill for the Crypt Horror. Congrats on that. Oh yeah, might have... seems like he was blocking the unit off with his own zombie, but this could spell really poor news for the poor Necromancer. Yeah, he's gonna be really hurt by this. Fail the terror test. Isn't gonna make a difference. Well, he can take a punch. 392 wounds, 35% armor. It's gonna last him for a little while. You can see here that he's focusing on rune of expertise and not armor perforation, so he's not actually doing too much damage. Doesn't want to use adrenaline rush here, I think. He wants to preserve the wounds of Alexei. He's half dead. 60% of his wounds are left. And no need to try and overpower here. You just want to finish this guy off. He's gonna take 60 damage on himself. Like, see, right away there. Even failed the parry. Unlucky though, yes, but still. Was that worth it? Taking 30 damage to do... yeah, probably, maybe 30 damage himself. Maybe he feels that he wants to get a little bit back. Petru is about to die, and if Petru dies, it's actually gonna be a bit tricky. Let's see, 100 to 59, so we know 41? 41. That's what morale needs to be taken away from Valentin before he takes the route test. Considerably more for Kriskardiac. As you can see, that's 58. So it's a big difference. It's a whole kill more. Plague might be a bit bite it here. A bit unlucky. Not like Kriskardiac, but still. Doing a little bit more damage. Alright, cool. Healing up in the process. I could finish him off with the Adrenaline Rush, but is it worth it? And you will have a Necromancer with 170 wounds. The last one to be able to take a route test. You really don't want that. Also considering that with 41 initiative left, if he loses the Necromancer, for instance, which is minus 22, and loses a Henchman, which is 19, you are suddenly, you've lost 41, so then you will actually have to take a route test. So better to lose 3 units than losing 2 units. It's the same thing if he loses the Crypt Horror and the single Henchman. He also has to take a route test then. Becomes one of the damage dealers who doesn't do too much damage, but still manages a critical hit. Nice for him, 2% chance of that. So it's actually grinding down to an end here. I think Valentin has a combat advantage. We know that Necromancer is gonna die, and then we have... oh, we do see the Globadier here moving away. Wait. He might be going towards the Dark Soul. And if he does that, kill off the Dark Soul and pick up the Idol. Why do you keep insisting on the Vital Shots? You don't need them. If you can pick up the Idol of Valentin and kill off the Dark Soul here, he's gonna force a route test. And that's gonna be really interesting. It could mean the end of Valentin. Necromancers don't always have too great leadership stats. They tend to maximize their intelligence, leaving them with 7 to 13 leadership, something like that. Something between those numbers. That's the most common number seen when they are being built. Sorcerer doesn't want to hang around the Crypt Horror. I can tell you that. Crypt Horror is gonna kill off that Necromancer. Necromancer can't really just run away either. He's still stupid. I mean, he can disengage from that, but well, assuming if he succeeds the terror test and he can't really run too far, so it might just as well use all of the red pills and inflict some harm upon him, just like the Black Skaven tried to do. Might see a Sandor going down here. Nice to see Order Makes the sorcery leader have more sense now. Which was the units that he was trying to order? Was that the mutant maybe? The mutant was the main target for order because he did a lot of damage. If so, it was a big mistake separating the two so far from one another. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. 90. Failed the terror test. -3 blue pills, -3 red pills. Yeah, just do 2 steel lives here. Again with warp overcharge. You're barely gonna do any damage. Quick casting, might we see a steel life then? Yes, there it is. Has been notoriously poor with his casting this entire game, Kriskardiac. Now only having 3% chance to get a Sense Curse. He should have two red pills left. Let's see what he does there. Another warp overcharge. Okay. Oh, warp overcharge is the new comment of Sigmar. For some players, might use it in the same way that why people like to use Rotten Touch. It's cheap. I wouldn't use Kidney Strike here. Armor Breakers, yeah, it's much better choice. Does land it, -10% armor. Can actually just check that skill out as well. As you can see, -10% for 1 turn, not stackable. Can help. You see the morale 62 to 59, so he just needs to lose 3 more morale and then it's over. And Valentin needs to inflict a bit more, but the nice thing about the Idol of Death here is that it adds a bit more of a morale penalty. So you do take +2 or +4 if it's mastered, extra morale damage whenever one of your units go down. So henchman normally -19 would be -21. So killed himself. It was the only good thing to do. He seemed to like doing that, and you can see now it's really close there. That was a very nice hit though. 50. Let's see if he hits the second one here. He can really start bringing the zombie down and free our unit up. No, it's not gonna happen. Was a bit lucky with the parry fail though on the first hit. First hit is always most important. You do more damage with it. Remember that this zombie is not an effect of Call of Vanal. They haven't been for quite some time now, since he has the only remaining necromancer has been tied down by a pesky warp guard that eventually decided enough was enough and took his own life.
A new round has started.
A new round has started. Bit of damage. Alexei inflicted 69 to Alexei. So it's actually 60 damage and 9 damage from warp overcharge. Wait, can that be right? No, it must have been something else. 69. Huh. Yeah, maybe if it does 69, yeah, maybe it actually is the new comet. Maybe it is bugged in some way to use up intelligence. I should actually check that up. Don't know why he did so much damage, but you can see here now he's in big trouble. 17 leadership is all that Kriskardiac needs to lose before he takes a route test. So it's a race here to see who takes a route test first. Failing the terror. Shank is gonna live. Wow, especially after that parry. That was ace. Taking a little bit more damage. Fail the other parry. Alright. That was interesting. I should pay more attention to what Warp Overcharge is actually doing. How could it take 69 damage? Oh, really poor. Actually, a poor engagement here by Valentin too. Like if the Globadier is standing like that, he had the movement to go around a little bit and push him into the house. So he could not disengage. He can disengage from this when it's his turn. So yeah, not a good choice by either player. Their inexperience is showing up a bit here, but I think we are about to see the end of the game. Gathering up a wordstone, getting that crucial -1 red pill and -10% extra curse chance. Needs to be careful here. Will this character... I still think that the Globadier can disengage from this. So he made the same mistake twice. He really needs to lock down the Globadier. Why, if he's going into melee, why isn't he doing that? See Itch here. Itch is probably going for the wagon of Valentin. It's just up there. See what kind of damage he can do to him. Can he actually kill him off so he's not able to get up there? 2 life stealers. No, he's not gonna be able to do that. Especially not missing one of the spells. That makes it like 10-2 in missing spells to in disfavor of Kriskardiac. I'm just kidding, I didn't make that number up. It's very late here in the night, so bear with me. It's gonna have to bake an all alone check here, the Globadier at the very least, so that's something. Kinda like if he's focusing on Lifestealer here with the Necromancer, because failed all alone tests, alright. I like it because he needs to shore up the wounds a bit more here so he doesn't die. If the Necromancer dies, it's game over for Valentin. I don't know if he realizes that yet. If the Necromancers die, it's over. What? That has got to be the strangest fail of an all alone I've ever seen. Did you see that? Good lord. He ran away from them, ran all the way around, and this is automatic. This is not something that Kriskardiac is controlling. This is the pathway by the AI. And then he just rushes back into the fight with his ranged weapon, with the shurikens on. It's unbelievable. That's just that seems really buggy. I don't know how else to say. It's really odd. He should have been miles away from that fight now, and may be able to fight in the next turn, but too bad that the zombie here is not someone else because he's about to die. But yeah, that was so odd. That was so odd. You can see him, he's right there, you're right behind the ghoul. He hasn't moved into a fight, you can see that from the stance, but he's like right next to him. Or maybe he is in melee. Actually, it's difficult to tell, but he's gonna be cornered now. Snick's turn. Could pull down the icon, I assume here, and if he does that, it's could be game over for Valentin. Could be a Kriskardiac win here. Useless Bless of Filth. Wither, it's gonna be good. Minus 30% dodge chance due to the minus 6 agility. It's gonna be helpful. Also losing a bit of movement and stuff, but let's. Can he get to the icon? The banner in the wagon? Can he get to it? If he can, this can be game over. Wish I could just watch the clock on this recording right now so I see when this when this match actually ends, and I would know, but I don't have that luxury. Yeah, that was so odd. The flea. I don't know what. Yeah, and you can see here the idol icon. I say icon and banner. It's the idol. It's lost by Valentin's Warband. So Valentin has to take a route test and he succeeds. 40% chance. Wow, he succeeds. If he can make a kill here, and he might be able to, he can still win this, because then he will force a route test on Kriskardiac. Oh, this is gonna be. Oh, of course, the sorcerer of Kriskardiac probably has good leadership. If he has, let's see here, he had order mastered, so that means at least 15. 15. That's 15 times 4. That's 60% chance. He'll succeed at the route test. Is he going after the necromancer? I would actually go after the necromancers at this point. If Kriskardiac has it in him to do some kind of damage, go for the necromancer. I think if he wants to engage one of these, so he doesn't fail another all alone with the Globadier. But the Globadier could throw down a poison, which would bleed down both of the ghoul and the necromancer. Why attack the full health ghoul when you could go for the half health necromancer? Go for the necromancer. Why? Kriskardiac, you're making a big mistake here. It might cost you the game. It's a very tight game right now. See if you can finish off this nasty little zombie in the way. Going to use disengage. Okay. He seems intent on. He's at least focusing down something, I think. So that's good. So he has a plan to cast another route test. But I imagine if he'd gone for the necromancers at this point, he could have been dead. Remember that the necromancer is also taking 30 damage from exhaustion. Yes, the ghoul can't heal, but yeah, I don't think that trick actually works. Kriskardiac, like returning it and then take it in again, I don't think it's gonna force another route test. So I might do if he waits for a whole turn. I'm actually unsure, but I don't think it's a valid tactic. Maybe it resets when he loses morale in some other way. Failed the terror test, so he's not gonna do too much. He just has a single attack. Who should he attack? Who should he miss? He chooses to miss the zombie. He's gonna die in the next turn, forcing a route test for Kriskardiac. Let's see if Kriskardiac can bring someone down until then. I think the Globadier is quite high up the initiative ladder, isn't he? Decently. Oh, itch is really hurting. He could die here. Needs a few lucky hits, of course, from Stanislav of Valentin's warband. Dodge that, no problem. You can see that from the maze and the little green light on the maze here that he is on the effect of Bless of Filth. 8 to 16 extra damage for a failed poison test. Yeah, look at him, 232, he could have been toast. Ugh, 70, 90, 110, yeah, he would have been really... And he couldn't have disengaged like this either. Should really have gone for the Necromancer. Is gonna pay for that now. And I think Necromancer is probably gonna run away. Can do that one more time, healing up a little bit as well. Yeah, Itch might not be long for this wall, and if Itch is not there, who is going to finish a unit of Valentines? I think Valentine is slowly turning this around. We're gonna see Kriskardiac take a route test, because I am pretty sure that the Ghoul, the Crypt Horror is gonna kill off the Warp Guard that we saw. And oh wow, could be Itch here as well. Boom, definitely a route test coming in for Kriskardiac now. 80 to 82, so a route test is coming up. And the Crypt Horror will surely kill the Warp Guard, making sure that it's not going to be more difficult to take the route test, but it's gonna mean that there are fewer units left available for Kriskardiac to do anything with. And the zombie might not catch up into the fight because he's really slow, but the Crypt Horror definitely could catch up. Here we see the zombie that was left alone. Doesn't have too many wounds left remaining, but he's still alive. All that matter. Oh wow. Bypassed that dodge like a champ. Mark of Dismay too. Yeah, this is gonna be... It's gonna be hurtful for Kriskardiac. He needs a miracle now. What can he do? He's gonna lose his Verminkin, gonna lose Shank here. Yeah, strong blow is good. There we go, another loss. What are we? We are only 3 units remaining now for Kriskardiac, and I don't think the Globadier is long for this world, so 7 kills for Valentin and only 5 for Kriskardiac. Kriskardiac has 1 unit more though, due to the impressive. And he's failed it, I'm sorry to hear, and that is it. Congratulations to Valentin for a victory here, 7-4, alright, 7-4, I was wrong about that. And we'll see him come up in his next game, and he's gonna face 485, while Kriskardiac is going to go down and he's going to face Bobby Boy Freed in Group A.
Demonstrate your loyalty and enjoy the favor of the
See how these two players do. We hope to see them again. And yeah, here we go in the group. So 485 Valentin, Kriskardiac versus Bobby Boy Freed. Thank you for watching. See you for the next game. Farewell.